Hi everyone, it's Lily. Welcome to Cooking with Lily. Today we're going to be making a tomato bisque with a grilled cheese sandwich on the side. This is a very quick, easy, simple, and delicious recipe. It's super easy to follow. It's perfect for people that are on the go or they don't have time to necessarily cook every day. The tomato bisque itself stores quite well in the fridge, so whenever you're feeling hungry, just take it out of the fridge, reheat it, and you'll have yourself a quick lunch or snack. So enough talking, let's get started.
Here are all the ingredients you will need to make the tomato bisque. 1 can of chicken broth. You can use any brand, but I personally like Swanson just because it tastes a little bit more pure to me, if that makes any sense. But if you have a favorite one, please go ahead and use that instead. Just as a side note, I found this in the international or Asian aisle of my local grocery store, so if you have any trouble finding it, make sure to check there first. Black pepper, salt, 1 can of diced tomatoes, granulated sugar, oregano, basil, olive oil, heavy whipping cream. If you don't have any heavy whipping cream, you can always substitute it with milk and a teaspoon of butter. 3 cloves of garlic, and 1 medium onion. To make the grilled cheese, you will need bread, butter, and cheese. You can use any type of cheese that you prefer, but I'm just using Kraft single slices in this video just because that's what I had lying around in my fridge. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to peel and dice this onion into small pieces. Next, I'm going to pour a drizzle of olive oil into my pot. If I had to estimate exactly how much oil I used, I would say around maybe half a teaspoon or so. Now add your garlic to the olive oil. I'm using a garlic press since it saves so much time compared to mincing it by hand. I got this garlic press from IKEA for like $7 and it's lasted me for over 2 years now, so it's definitely a good investment if you cook with garlic a lot. If you don't have a garlic press, that's fine. You just need to mince your garlic right after dicing your onions so you have it ready to go for this step. Turn your heat to medium-high and add your onions. I had to switch out my pot here because the smaller pan did not want to work with the induction cooktop at all. My bad. Anyways, you want to keep stirring the onions and garlic until they turn a nice golden brown color like so. Now add the diced tomatoes and give it a good stir to incorporate everything. At this point, you can also turn your heat up to high. Once the mixture starts to simmer, you want to add your chicken broth. Add half a tablespoon of basil. Add 1 teaspoon of oregano. Add 1 tablespoon of sugar. If you like your soup a little bit on the sweeter side, you can go ahead and add a little bit more. Add about 1 teaspoon of salt, or more, to your liking. Add around half a teaspoon of black pepper. Again, how much you add is really up to you. There's no right and wrong here. I'm just taking a clean spoon here and giving the soup a little taste to see if it's to my liking. And it wasn't salty enough, so I added a little bit more salt. Add in your heavy cream. I added about 2 tablespoons. If you're substituting the heavy cream for milk and butter, now's the time to add it in. Now turn off the heat and set your pot of soup to the side so it can cool down a little. While waiting for the soup to cool, we can go ahead and get started on our grilled cheese. Turn your stove to medium heat and add around a teaspoon of butter to the pan. As the butter starts to melt, swirl the butter around the pan to coat the bottom of it. Place your bread right above the melted butter and rub it around to coat the underside of the bread. Add your cheese. Add your second piece of bread and gently press on the back of the bread with a spatula. This makes the outer layer of the bread crunchy but keeps the inner layers of the bread nice and soft. Wait about a minute, and then you want to flip your bread over to check to see if the underside is nicely toasted. Now you want to lift the bread up and add another teaspoon of butter to the pan. Again, try to coat the pan with the melted butter. Put the untoasted side of the bread in the pan and allow it to soak up some of the butter. Now wait 1 minute and then flip the toast over again. You can keep flipping the toast back and forth to get a nice even browning on both sides. When you're happy with how toasted it is, you can go ahead and take it off the pan. Now it's time to cut your grilled cheese in half and put it on a plate. Now going back to the soup, what you're going to want to do now is take your soup and put it in a blender to puree it. There's a super duper important step when it comes to blending anything hot in a blender so that you do not burn yourself. Make sure you open the top part of the blender, so on traditional blenders, this is usually the handle part on the lid, to allow the steam to escape from the top. When you're blending, you can cover the hole with a dry tea towel so that the soup doesn't splash out of the blender. If you have an immersion blender, that's even better. You don't have to worry about this at all. Once you're done blending, you can pour the soup into a bowl, and now it's ready to serve. You can enjoy your soup just like that, or you can add some finishing touches to the top. This step is completely optional. This is only if you want to add a little pizzazz to your soup and make it all fancy. You can take some heavy cream and slowly pour a small stream of the cream on the top of the soup in a circular motion. If you go too fast and pour too much out at once, it will sink straight to the bottom, so you have to pour it out a little bit at a time. Once you're happy with your design, add a little sprinkle of dried basil to the top, and now you're all done. Yay!
Hey, and that was it. I hope you enjoyed cooking with me today, and I hope that you learned something new and you enjoy this recipe. Thank you for watching my video.